Dodgers and Cubs last night. Tarik Skubal making his debut for the Dodgers, where many people feel his acquisition is ruining baseball, and here's why. First batter he faces, Pete Crow Armstrong. He may be the MVP, but he goes down there. Strike three on the sinker. First strikeout of Skubal's Dodgers career. Top of two, still scoreless. This is Kyle Tucker, the former Cub. And now the unfriendly foe, giving the Dodgers the 1-0 lead as that one is out to left center. Bottom of two, Skubal settling in. How nasty this stuff is. Michael Busch up high. Tyrone Taylor on the change. Bottom of three, Dodgers still leading at 1-0, so Skubal going along well, and then here comes Dansby Swanson, and there he goes. That one's not coming back. Solo shot for the Cubs. Ties the game at 1. We had a good one going at Wrigley Field. Bottom of 6, still tied at 1. Skubal still out there, facing Bregman with a runner on. Bregman. That one is deep. It might be. It could be. It isn't. But watch this. It's off the wall and it's badly misplayed by Tucker. Lewis would have caught that. Bregman into second with a stand-up double. Two batters later, runners at the corners. That's Nico Horner. Where the heck does that one wind up? Everybody's safe. The run scores. Skubal winds up pitching 6. Looked pretty good, but gave up the 2 runs, and the Cubs wouldn't need more, though they would add more. They're up 4-1 in the 8th, and then it's Horner off Edwin Diaz. That's a 5-1 score, and that's your final. So the red-hot Cubs get a big win over the Dodgers. Here was Skubal after the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to bed last night, excited. It felt like, my major league debut, kind of same type of vibe in terms of, the nerves running through. But I think that's all good stuff.
All right, so despite the Dodgers' loss, Skubal has now gone 6 straight starts on the road, allowing 2 or fewer earned runs, the longest streak within a season in his career. He only threw 85 pitches last night, which is tied for the 3rd fewest he's had in any game this season. So here we go with Jess and Jesse. For the purposes of this day, Jessica Mendoza, I'm going to call you Jessica on every single reference just to make sure that we get this thing right. But Jesse, I will start with you. You've covered probably in the 35 years I've known you 10,000 games at Wrigley Field. What was your biggest takeaway from Skubal's debut last night?
Well, let's start with Skubal's takeaway. He said afterwards that, look, I've only pitched in the postseason on the road, so I've been around hostile environments, and last night was one of them. He felt it matched a playoff atmosphere. Now, I watched him. The moment he came out of the dugout, the boos. The moment he went to the outfield to warm up, boos. Into the bullpen and back out, boos. So it really was like a playoff game, because normally you're not noticing the opposing pitcher like that. So he's all ramped up and ready to go. And the other thing that I noticed in game, we didn't see A+ Skubal. We saw B Skubal. And B Skubal, 75% of Skubal is in fact better than 100% of a lot of other guys. I thought his changeup was good, not so much with his fastball where Swanson got to him and then Bregman later. So there's another level there. And afterwards, Dave Roberts said, yeah, I could have left him in. And certainly Skubal tried to make his case. But of course, the Dodgers have bigger fish to fry. They're still worried about their walking wounded coming back, Snell, Glasnow, Ohtani. So they're going to play it a little safe with Skubal. Wasn't at his best, could have gone longer. Turned into a loss at the end of the day.
So the physical piece of it is one thing. And then, Jessica, I know you have some tape for us on the mentality of the Cy Young pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, one of the coolest things, Greeny, is when you watch Tarik Skubal with that fastball, even though it got hit, I love the way that he comes back and attacks the same hitters in the same spot. I was literally in-game calling this, going, look at Tarik Skubal and the mentality that you're going to see from him throughout the rest of this season. So take you back to Dansby Swanson in the 3rd inning. Look at that pitch location, elevated fastball. This is one of the best pitches that Skubal will have. What does he do, though, the next at-bat? He said, dog, I'm coming back with the same stuff, elevating this fastball, but this time it's going to be the swing and miss. And then I'm going to break off one of my best off-speed pitches in the break ball. 18 miles an hour different. Look at the change in eye levels. I love this. The guy that took him deep, he comes right out of first pitch with the same exact pitch. Greeny might not have had the same stuff that we want to see out of a Cy Young caliber, but the mentality is there, and the dude's stuff is real.
Absolutely. Look, I mean, if that's a bad game, obviously, for your ace, you feel pretty good about it considering everything. Jessica, let's look bigger picture, though, at the Dodgers. They've lost 5 out of 7. Ohtani isn't pitching or hitting the way you would expect him to. Are they, I guess I want to ask you the question, this team that everyone says is ruining baseball because they're too good, are they actually in a little bit of trouble?
I don't think they're in trouble. And, Jesse just talked about the fact that they're going to get Blake Snell mostly back next year or next week. Is going to be back into that rotation. Tyler Glass now, Tarik Skubal, we saw the stuff. And let's face it, Ohtani, I mean, he's hitting 500 over the last 2 weeks. The slug hasn't been there, but I mean, the dude is definitely hitting. And I think about him just returning to pitching. He will. This is what the Dodgers do. They slow play it because they can, Greeny. They're still sitting. Yes, second of all teams in the National League. They're going to be in the postseason. So why rush back some of their stars? This frustrates a lot of teams in baseball, but the fact is they went and got Tarik Skubal. Why? So they can do this with Shohei Ohtani. Allow him to get back. So ultimately, he's at his best with Tyler Glass now, with Blake Snell, and oh, by the way, their ace Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who threw 8 innings on Saturday.
Jesse, the callers to the talk shows in Chicago, are they talking about the World Series?
Oh, yeah, especially after that trade deadline when they added Clay Holmes and Kevin Gausman. They've had so many pitching injuries that Jed Hoyer was able to sort of reinforce that pitching staff. Those guys haven't even made their debuts yet. And they do so many things well on the baseball diamond, which I think in this day and age, Greeny, teams get criticized for. If you're sick of the Mets throwing the ball all over the place, watch the Cubs. You mentioned my 30-plus years covering this thing. They have the best defense I think I've seen in that time. It's been incredible, almost better than the 2016 team. They have the components. And the last thought, if they hit home runs, there's no holes on this team. They did the last 2 nights.
Those are the Lombard brothers, George and Jacob. George Lombard Jr. making his major league debut for the Yankees last night, the youngest Yankee infielder to make his debut since Derek Jeter. His parents were there in attendance, and they were watching on their phone as Lombard Jr.'s younger brother Jacob made his professional debut for Single-A Jupiter. And at 7:09 p.m., Jacob, who was a first-round pick of the Marlins, hits a home run to left field. Jacob wanted his parents to be with his older brother at Yankee Stadium, but they're watching on the phone. They're excited. Now we go back to Yankee Stadium, bottom of 5, just over an hour later. This is George's second at bat, Brian Rucco.
Hit in the air, deep left field, Torres back, George Lombard Jr. has entered the yard and left it.
How about that night for the Lombard brothers? Lombard Jr.'s first hit in the majors is his first home run. Both brothers with homers in their respective debuts. Again, they came about an hour apart. By the way, the Yankees would win this game by a score of 2-0. But back to the brothers. They had nearly identical home runs, both coming in their second plate appearances. Both had the exact same launch angle. The exit velocity was only off by just under half a mile per hour. An absolutely magical night. Jessica Mendoza, what are the right things to say as we watch that moment for that family?
Oh, first of all, it's so special. And anyone that knows George Lombard Sr., I mean, watching mom and dad in that moment, like, how do you not get emotional? And they were actually with Jacob because they found out first he was making his debut. And Jacob said, no, George Jr. just got the call up. You got to go. So they booked it to get to that game in New York to be able to see George Jr. They had, as you mentioned, Jacob on the phone. But to me, it's about that hug, that moment. I mean, I'm a parent. You're a parent. I mean, just put yourself in the shoes. Are you freaking kidding me? Both your boys within minutes hitting a home run. And honestly, George Lombard, I mean, he's one of the greatest humans. So happy for him and his wife to see those two boys do what they did.
And again, Junior is the Yankee shortstop now, and he looks awfully good in his debut, and they'll need him desperately because they're going to have to deal with the Red Sox. Everybody is going to have to deal with the Red Sox. Let's watch Boston against the White Sox. Their new acquisition is Adley Rutschman, walking around meeting all his new teammates after being traded from Baltimore. Bottom of 1, Red Sox, bases loaded, and there's the Durbinator. Caleb Durbin over the monster for his first career grand slam. 5-0 Boston. Bottom of 5, it's 6-1. This is Wheelier Abreu. That one's not coming back. Red Sox a 7-1 lead against a White Sox team that's been playing well. We go to bottom of 8. Boston's up 3-2. It's Abreu again. Second verse, same as the first. Third multi-home run game this season for Wilyer Abreu, and the Red Sox win again, 14-2. Boston has been ridiculous. Since June 25th, the Red Sox are 29-5. That is their most wins over a 34-game span in franchise history. Bear in mind, that means, I don't know, like 130 years. Mendoza and Jesse Rogers are with us. Jessica, this was a team that 2 months ago we thought were going to be sellers at the deadline. Now, all of a sudden, do they look like a team that will be playing at the end of October to you?
They certainly do. I mean, they have that chance to go far based on what we've seen lately. And I picked them to win the division, Greeny, back in April or March. And they're finally doing what they're supposed to be doing, playing good baseball. First in OPS during that time frame and that you mentioned, and first in ERA, doing it without Garrett Crochet as well. I remember being on Buster Olney's podcast back when they fired Alex Cora, and I said, this is an interesting promotion for Chad Tracy. He has some pedigree in the game. He's a young guy that knows the young players. They didn't just hire a babysitter as an interim manager. It took some time, but they're gelling. Quick personal story. My 23-year-old son was at Fenway for the first time in his life last night. He went to WashU University. Why is that important? Because Kayla Durbin went to WashU. And my son texted me, when you're getting grand slams from Division III WashU players, maybe it's your year. So maybe sky's the limit for them. I like them back in February and March. They're finally playing good baseball.
Jessica, is this a year that looked like was going to be completely lost? I'll remind everyone, they're still in third place in the division, but they're as hot as you can possibly be. Is this their year in Boston right now? How does it look to you?
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason they're third in the division is because how bad, the reason why they fired Alex Cora and struggled so much. I mean, it was epically bad. And I think people forget when you look at the tear that they're on right now, they have dug themselves out of what is an enormous hole to be one of the hottest teams that you will see in baseball. And to Jesse's point, they've always been pitching, but to see the lineup production, and now they add Adley Rutschman. Now they've added to their bullpen. I mean, this is a team that I absolutely think when we talk about the Dodgers in the NL, we talk about teams in the American League. Yes, we get excited about the Yankees. Yes, we get excited about the AL East. But the Red Sox, without a doubt, are the team to beat in the American League because of everything they're doing with run prevention and how much fun they are having offensively. It's not a fluke. This is now going on for almost 2 months. This is the Red Sox that you will see from here on out.
The team they beat last night, Jesse Rogers, is the White Sox, who were a punching bag. They've lost 223 games the last 2 years. Even with the loss last night, they still lead the division by 3 games. Are they the biggest surprise in baseball?
Well, on the positive side, yes. I mean, we can go through some negative surprises, the Mariners or the Mets, but on the positive side, absolutely. They debuted 13 players this year. You don't do that in a winning situation normally. It's a player development success story, really. They gathered all these prospects during all those losing years, and now they're making it to the majors, but they're contributing. They don't look overmatched. They look like they belong. I think Chris Getz is probably the leader for Executive of the Year and Will Venable for Manager of the Year right now, but they have to finish the job. That was an ugly loss last night. So these final couple months is going to be interesting. They didn't do as much at the deadline as maybe they could have. Picked up Luis Castillo. He hasn't made his debut yet. But yeah, this is definitely the surprise.
And Jessica, despite everything or all of the things that we've said, do the Dodgers remain, in your view, the team to beat? Be it in their own league or in the World Series, is everyone still chasing the Dodgers?
Absolutely. And we can get excited about the hot teams. And let's face it, the Red Sox just swept the Dodgers. I mean, Cubs beat the Dodgers the last 2 games, but to me, the Dodgers, especially when you look at October, there's a reason why Ohtani is not on the mound. Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, they just got Tarik Skubal. I mean, let's be real. They are the team to be. And as much as these hot teams are fun to watch and fun to talk about, October is going to be a completely different feel where all of these teams are going to match up, and the Dodgers will be the team to beat.
All right.